back with us with another week talking all things KC with our 50-50 elected mayor, according to Al Sharpton, Quinton Perry. He's in the building. Good morning, Mayor Lucas. How you feeling?
Good morning, whatever they call me. It's all right. It was good to see Reverend Sharpton last week. We met a few times. He had me feeling good, and then they put up Quinton Perry. So hey, know that you never made it that big after all, y'all. Never get too big in egos. So that's what I got.
Didn't know you was related to Deanna, but here we are.
Good to know we're actually more than cousins.
But Mayor Lucas, on a serious note, you recently brought together healthcare leaders and lawmakers to talk about the impact of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act on Medicaid and SNAP here in Kansas City. For a lot of families, though, especially on the north side, east side, and in the heart of the Kansas City urban core, this is not politics, it is survival. If these cuts hit the way that people are expecting, Mayor Lucas, what real backup plan exists for Kansas City families, and what resources will actually be there for parents who suddenly find themselves without enough food or health care support?
That's what we were trying to work on the other day. So we recognize it is a huge problem. This is not just politics. This isn't theoretical. You have people who will be kicked off their Medicaid. You have, I believe, roughly 50% of them in our state, children. They're going to be young kids who don't have health care. They're going to be whole populations that are largely going to go to the emergency rooms for care, and don't even get me started on SNAP benefits and what that's going to mean to people not being able to eat. What we were getting all the healthcare institutions together to do was to say, how do we actually make sure, first of all, we're getting communication out there to people to make sure you sign up? How are we going to try to get the states of Missouri and Kansas to try to, I think, come up with work requirements that are allowing people to actually fulfill them rather than the sorts of things that are trying to kick people out? And more than anything, saying this is not just a joke. This bill did pass, it's been signed into law, and we need to make sure that we're finding ways to get people that preventative care. I'm worried about the kids who aren't getting the checkups they need, the mothers who are pregnant, who are dealing with any challenges to care. That's the sort of thing we're going to see long term, and that's where you're going to keep doing some work from the city level.
Mayor Lucas, later on today, you are set to announce stronger workforce and housing standards for city subsidized development. Is there a chance we can get a preview of what's to be expected?
Yeah, you can get 100% preview. I mean, what we're going to do is require prevailing wage. That is a quality of pay that typically goes to union labor on every incentivized project in Kansas City. That's a good thing. That's a good step. What I'm going to share in demand of my union brothers and sisters, though, is that we do more than just pay people fair pay for fair work. That's good. We need to make sure there are more people that look like me, more people that look like you, Deanna. We need more women on sites. We need to make sure that we have people of color on union sites. And so to me, this isn't just a one direction sort of thing where we're looking out for our unions. We need to make sure, and I'm saying this not just for my area, this is Kansas City, Missouri, that as they're talking about building a Sunflower Clark Hunt Dome, as they talk about everything else, every big project we're working on in Kansas City, whether they be stadiums, road projects, anything, we need to make sure that we have a broad base of people represented. And that's what I'm going to try to make sure we work to do. Kansas City will just be the guide in connection with how we can get that done.
We're talking all things KC with our 55th elected mayor of Kansas City, Missouri, Mayor Quinton Lucas. The grocery store at 31st and Prospect is coming back as United Market, and we all know how important that store is to that community. But security was a major issue before, Mayor Lucas, and now the new operator has a law enforcement background and is even a part-time police officer in Roeland Park. So being real, though, I got to ask this. In a community that already has a complicated relationship with policing, is there any concern that that approach could create tension? And how do you make sure that this store feels safe, welcoming, and community-driven, not over-policed or uncomfortable for people it's meant to serve?
Yeah, I mean, look, nobody, at least sometimes, wants to go into a spot where they feel like, it's Fort Knox all around them. So I get that. That being said, I think what I've heard from community in a lot of situations is, yeah, it's good to have security. It's good to have a presence of security. The proper balance, I think, is what you see when you go into establishments in any part of our metro area. There are police at Oak Park Mall and Roeland Park, right? It's just making sure that you don't walk by an armada going in. And so I think I'm going to trust this store owner to come up with what could be a decent balance. I'm going to trust them to actually make sure they're listening to the voices of the community. I'm going to trust the community as well. I think what we saw before was that there were certain folks that did not respect the presence of the store. There were certain folks that created consistent challenges to that store. I don't think that's the way things need to be on Prospect. I don't think that's the way things need to be in our community. So, look, I don't go into this discussion thinking, and I frankly don't think that the failure of the store fundamentally was security long term. You have seen a lot of grocery stores fail all around the region. OP, the Northland, other parts of our region in the last 2 years, by the way. I saw somebody send me pictures of a store on Blue Parkway, the Sunfresh over there, that has an issue with food on the shelves. And so we're going to make sure the store does right, first of all. We're going to make sure it's a place people want to be. I think you're going to make, then after that, you're going to see that we can do quality business long term.
Mayor Lucas, I know you're slated to be in St. Louis later on this week. I'll send you my Chinese spot so you can get you some good rice. Just make sure you got your security with you.
Look, I'm gonna make sure I do right. I know my St. Louis. I shouldn't say this in advance. I ain't going with security. So, D, I may need to call your cousins on this one.
Yeah,
I'm getting out and about.
I'm gonna call my dad. I'm gonna make sure you secure.
Mayor Lucas, we appreciate you, man. Have a good one, and please continue to be a blessing for Kansas City.
All right, y'all. Be safe this week. Later.